Would I be the asshole if I don't let my best friend walk with her boyfriend at my wedding? 24F at getting married next spring. My best friend from childhood is one of my bridesmaids. She is 22. We've always been close even though we aren't very alike. She's always been sheltered and is pretty religious. About 5 months ago she got her first real boyfriend. She is very into him and believes they will get married. They might actually because he's also pretty religious and sheltered. I know for a fact that their first time having sex was with each other. You know how the bridal parties enter the ceremony 2 by 2 and then have introductions during the reception? Here's the issue. My best friend told me that she thinks it's disrespectful of her and me as well if she walks down the aisle or enters the reception with a groomsman, or another man, as she puts it. She thinks that it would be respectful of her relationship if her boyfriend walks with her for these 2 parts. To be clear, she is not suggesting her boyfriend be in the wedding party. She just wants to walk down with him, then he will go sit in his normal spot. I think this is a weird request and I would like to say no. It would just make things look awkward. I don't think she would decline to be a part if I say no, but she will be upset and say I'm not respecting her relationship. Before y'all say maybe it's him putting her up to it, I don't think so. This is something I can see coming from her, but IDK maybe it is him. Not the asshole. She thinks that it would be respectful of her relationship if her boyfriend walks with her for these 2 parts. To be clear, she is not suggesting her boyfriend be in the wedding party. She just wants to walk down with him, then he will go sit in his normal spot. Has she never been to a wedding before? Matched bridesmaids and groomsmen walk in and out together. Oh, for the love of God. Walking down the aisle at a wedding with someone is not disrespectful to a relationship. WIBTA. Get friend a wedding etiquette book. She is wrong. If boyfriend can't be alone for half an hour, I don't know what to tell you. If she insists, boot her from the wedding party. Groomsmen and bridesmaids are not paired up as couples. They are not important enough to make choices for their own romantic reasons. Either you do as the bride decides or you bow out of the role. The attendants don't get to make requests. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She can absolutely feel that way, and let her know you're not forcing her to be in the wedding party. If she feels that way, she can step down and your relationship will remain unchanged, but that you're not modifying the ceremony. OMG, this is such a ridiculous request. However, she is allowed to have this belief. Tell her that he is not walking her down the aisle or into the reception, and if she can't do that, then you understand her need to drop out of the wedding party. Not the asshole unless you are requiring your attendants to perform sex acts on the way down the aisle, rolling on the floor laughing. Congratulations and best wishes. Am I the asshole? Ex-boyfriend wants me to sign papers to refinance mortgage so he can take $17,000 out. So I, 38 female, recently left my ex Josh after 12 years of financial and mental abuse. We own a house together, and while I've moved into my mother's house with our 3 kids, he has stayed in our house. I am trying to get off the mortgage and give it all to him so I can later on buy again, and just be free from him. The problem is, he contacted me and said I need to sign papers so he can get the equity out of the house to buy him a car. I took his car, even though it's mine, but he wouldn't transfer it over to me. He has a gambling problem and it's getting worse. All the money he has gambled in the weeks I've been gone. He could have brought a second-hand car by now. I don't want him to gamble the mortgage and eventually make our names blacklisted. So I said I will not sign. And let me get off the mortgage first, then he can do whatever he likes. This has caused him to become angry and call me all sorts of names that I had to block him. He then messaged me through Facebook and told me it's my fault. He just gambled $1,500 back pay to win a car and I am dead to him. I have blocked him also on Facebook now. Am I the asshole? I could be the asshole as I did take my car that was under his name, control, reasons, and I won't let him take equity out. You need proper local qualified legal advice. Not the asshole. No. If he refis, he needs to take you off the loan. And you should push for that to happen immediately, as it sounds like he's going to start missing payments, which will destroy your credit too. Not the asshole. Hire a lawyer and untangle your financial situation from this gaping black hole. Not the asshole, obviously. He's trying to make his gambling problem your problem. Do not sign anything. Not the asshole. If you let him take out the equity, you would owe $17,000 more than you already do. I think you need to continue to be dead to him. You already know what the answer is. You both need to sell the house, split the equity, and you can watch him gamble that away. Am I the asshole for helping my nephew with his body odor? My nephew just turned 14 and is going through puberty. He hit a major growth spurt and now his body odor is in full force. I picked him up last week and his body odor was so strong that it lingered in my car for several days. I brought it up to my brother and his wife as I thought it would best to be handled by his parents rather than his aunt. Unfortunately, they are a bit bohemian and don't have great hygiene themselves. They said they didn't think he smelled bad at all and that it would hurt his self-esteem if they told him he stank. Well, fuck that. This past week I picked my nephew up per usual. During our visit, I told him that he was growing into a young man and, when that happens, our bodies start to change and emit new smells. I told him that he was starting to get that smell and, if he wanted, we could go shopping together to buy some supplies. At first he did seem a bit embarrassed because, shocker, he was getting picked on in school for smelling bad. I comforted him by telling him that was completely normal and he isn't the only kid to experience this. But with some shopping we could fix that. I took him to the store and let him pick out some different deodorants, body washes and sprays. I felt it was a great experience for both of us and he genuinely seemed excited about trying out all the different products. After I dropped him off, I received an angry text from my sister-in-law saying I completely overstepped and disregarding their instructions as parents. She said I caused irreversible damage to his self-esteem and I should mind my own business. Otherwise she wasn't sure she felt comfortable with me spending time with him. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. His self-esteem took a hit the minute the kids at school started bullying him for smelling bad. You just helped make his day-to-day a little easier. Not the asshole. I teach high school. I keep deodorant in my classroom for this exact reason. I don't tell anyone that they need it, but I do keep it in a place where students have access it along with other hygiene products. Your sister-in-law can choose to smell however she wants. Forcing her choices on her teenager is cruel. You didn't do anything to his self-esteem. You gave him the option of not following his mother's wishes. Not the asshole. I'm 34 now, but I will never forget this kid who was in my math class when I was 15/16 because of how bad he stank. He smelled so bad that every day when he left the classroom the teacher would have to spray air freshener around where he had sat. We could smell him from across the classroom. It was foul. It was putrid. It's been almost 30 full years and I still remember him, name and all, because that's how strong of a bad impression he made on me. You're saving your nephew from making a similar impression on his classmates. You did a good thing. We had a wonderful third-grade teacher who gave the entire class an assignment to go buy deodorant, not antiperspirant. These 8-year-olds were so excited to get their big kid purchases. Brilliant. She took care of the stinky kid in her class without causing them any embarrassment. And when the other kids were ready, it wasn't embarrassing for them because they already had it on hand. Good job, Op. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Saving him from being picked preserved his self-esteem. You absolutely did the right thing. For his next birthday, take him cologne shopping. Not the asshole. Being picked on at school because you smell bad is what might cause irreversible damage. Am I the asshole for not letting my flatmate's autistic sister live with us? So I live with a F21 called Holly, not her real name, who I met at university and after finishing moved in together. I'm also F21. Holly has little sister, Emily, F18, who's autistic, and I would like you to keep in mind for this situation that I am also autistic. Recently, at Holly's work there has been a part-time 1-month contract going. So after giving her sister the job she asked me if Emily could move in for a month. I felt a bit uncomfortable with it being a month, only because our flat is tiny and she wouldn't be contributing to rent, bills, etc. But since Holly had already given her the job I felt a bit backed into the corner and said yes. So she's moved in and it's the most awkward situation I've ever been in. She won't speak to me at all apart from one word every now and then. As I'm also autistic I understand autism pretty well and after having conversations with Holly, I would like to clarify her sister isn't selective mute, she just doesn't want to talk to me. I understand that to an extent, as after work I also like to have a chill in my room with little social interaction. But this is down to the point she won't say hello to me. I've tried everything, giving her space, inviting her to movie nights, or asking about her special interests and about her hobbies. She just looks at me with a white guy smile, rolls her eyes and gives me a one-word answer. It's painful. I feel a bit unsure of what to do, so I've left her to interact with me when she chooses. Everything is very awkward. Me and Holly were planning to live together next year too. As of yesterday, this might have changed. She pulled me aside and said her sister is really liking the city and wants to move in with us next year. This wouldn't be as bad as she would be paying her own rent, but I'm just not sure I could live with her. There is no level of friendship and I just think it would be uncomfortable for everyone involved. So I politely said to Holly, "No, I'm really sorry. I'm not sure that would be a good choice for any of us involved as me and Emily don't really speak and I think it would be awkward. But if you want to live with Emily I understand and it's not a problem. I'll sort my situation and live elsewhere. I'm not a confrontational person and get quite scared, but I try and stick to facts as much as possible without upsetting anyone." Holly then turned around and called me an ableist and I just don't want to live with her sister because she's autistic. To be honest, I could not care less that she's autistic as I'm autistic myself, which she knows, and most of my friends are autistic. What I care about is being friends with the people I live with, and me and Emily literally don't speak. Holly is very upset with my answer and so am I with the situation. Am I the asshole for not letting her sister live with us? Not the asshole. This girl is rolling her eyes at you. That's a nonverbal, microaggression. It makes you uncomfortable and you should not have to live with that. Not the asshole. Some people just don't mesh well, especially when living together. Sounds like your decision has nothing to do with her diagnosis and just the fact that you two aren't good roommates. Nothing wrong with that. One of my closest friends was my roommate for about 1.5 years and by the end of it we were so tired of seeing each other we didn't talk for like 2 months, but then things went back to normal with more space between us. It's just something that happens when people spend a ton of time together. As you describe it, not the asshole. I'm not sure what Holly is expecting. She seemed to have the ableist insult already locked, loaded and ready to fire. Surely she wasn't blind to how Emily interacted with you. Not the asshole. Tell her that no, you don't want to live with her sister because her sister is rude and does not interact with you and you don't like to feel awkward in your own place. No, you're not. You were honest and kind and expressed yourself just fine. Holly should understand that just because Emily is autistic, it doesn't mean her habits and such reflect all people who are also autistic. She should be respectful to your boundaries as well, and having to tiptoe in your own place seems ridiculous. No matter if you're both autistic, you are both people, and not all people get along. Oil and water. Find your pond. Heart. Not the asshole, but have a conversation with your roommate and tell her how her sister behaves around you. Let her know about the eye rolling, not talking, uncomfortable tension and the microaggression. Let her know that you're not comfortable living with her. You've been uncomfortable since the first day and that you respect that as her sister. She wants to live with her, but that you choose to not live that way. Also remind her that you're also autistic and you are not ableist. It's not because of her condition. It's because of her behavior.